Hey everybody, I thought I'd pop on today and go over this just massive epic book haul I just got. Went out today, just thought, I'll swing into Goodwill. And lately my Goodwill's been very iffy when it comes to especially, books in the sci-fi and fantasy genre. I mean, it's been a drought. So came in today not really expecting to find much, and was surprised to see that it looked like somebody had pretty much donated their entire collection. So I got just an absolute just epic haul today. I'm gonna start off with some of the kind of one-offs. One thing that I got was something I've been hunting for a while, which is an original copy of Dark Force Rising. Now, I've been looking for this because I've got the other two books in the trilogy with their original covers, and I've always had the second book in that newer cover, which I just don't really care for. So it was really nice to finally actually get to find a good copy of this in decent shape. I like the covers of these better. The new cover art for the Star Wars Legends series has been really iffy at best on a lot of those covers, so was very happy to finally score that. One of the other things that I managed to get, which I was also very excited about, was some of the books in the History of Middle-earth series. So I got the Lays of Bellerand, I got the Shaping of Middle-earth, and the Book of Lost Tales 1 and 2. I'm not aware of these covers. I haven't seen these before, but I do really like them. I do really like the, sort of painterly covers. Like I said, I've never really seen these editions before, but I do really like them. I really do like the way these look. Would I like to, find the rest of them in this, sort of shape? Yeah, I would love to. I don't know how many were out at the time. So I'm not really sure. Looks like there's The Lost Road and Other Writings, and looks like that's really the only one out of here that I don't have. So, might be worth kind of revisiting them throughout the week and see if that one ends up popping up, because that would be nice to get that last one in that edition. And I got this trilogy here, and this is a series you don't really see much of, and that's Shadowrun, which I love. Shadowrun. That's one of my favorite kind of universes. Never mind that SNES game from back in the 90s, which is just an absolute classic, and I wish somebody would reissue it. They made a trilogy of new games that are pretty close to that one, but I would love to have somebody put that one out. That would be great. But this is the Secrets of Power trilogy. Again, really great covers on these. And these are all in just absolute excellent shape on these. I mean, these are just such good shape, and just, I love these covers, but very excited to grab an actual Shadowrun trilogy. Now, the rest of these are all in varying D&D and D&D adjacent series. Now, I did get a couple of one-offs. Pull of Radiance, obviously a classic. So excited to get a copy of this to finally read. Obviously, the game was an absolute classic back in the day. And this one, I remember the cover and was always intrigued by it because I always was intrigued by Ravensloft. So we got Vampire of the Mists. Was always intrigued by the idea of a horror D&D era, but it kind of dropped around the time that I was getting out of D&D, because none of my, a lot of my friends that I played with had moved on from playing D&D. So while I still loved the universe and everything else, I just wasn't really playing around the time Ravensloft came out, but I did love the idea of that part of that universe. And so now we get into just a bunch of series that I got out of this haul. First being the Avatar trilogy. So that's Shadowdale, Tantris, and Waterdeep, which, Forgotten Realms is, obviously huge in D&D. Again, all in excellent shape, and just super excited to get such a haul of D&D books. So definitely very cool there. Got this one, which is a quintet, the Cleric Quintet, and I mean, it's R.A. Salvatore, who's one of the best writers in D&D. And check this autograph copy. How awesome is that? So we've got Canticle, the Sylvan Shadows, Night Masks, the Fallen Fortress, and the Chaos Curse. Which, I mean, again, they just don't do covers like this anymore. Like, I just, talk about a downgrade. Talk about a downgrade. I mean, look at that. Look at this. I mean, just look at these covers. It's just so good. They're so evocative of what you're about to get into. I mean, like, I would love to see us get back to covers like that. Like, those covers are just so good. And then we get into some real heavy classics. Icewind Dale trilogy. Crystal Shard, the Halfling's Gem, and Streams of Silver. So the full Icewind Dale trilogy, just an absolute classic. And again, these covers, I mean, look at that. Just absolutely gorgeous covers. And of course, following that up, our boy Drizzt, the Dark Elf trilogy. Homeland, Exile, and Sojourn. And again, just these covers are so fantastic. Just so good. And then we get into Dragonlance, which, I think is kind of a forgotten bit of D&D that I think really is due for a pretty heavy resurgence. We got Heroes, volumes 1, 2, and 3, which is Legends of Huma, Stormblade, and Weasel's Luck. We've got the Tales trilogy, The Magic of Kryn, Kender, Gully Dwarves, and Gnomes, and Love and War. Which again, these covers are just so good. We have Preludes, volume 1, 2, and 3, which encompasses Darkness and Light, Kendermore, and Brothers Majeri. And then finally, we've got the Chronicles trilogy, which Dragons of Autumn Twilight, Dragons of Winter Night, and Dragons of Spring Dawning. You know, and this is probably the biggest of the most well-known of the Dragonlance trilogies. You know, and again, you know, I have to call out these covers. I mean, these covers are all so evocative of the realm, of stories. I mean, look at this. Look at that cover. I'll probably save this one towards Halloween season. But look at that. I mean, these covers are just so good. And like, I could have got more. I had to cut myself off because I could have gotten in trouble because there were so many more I could have grabbed. And I eventually had to cut myself off because I didn't want to get in trouble. So, you know, because I could have kept going. I could have kept just dumping them into the cart. You know, because there were still a lot of one-offs there that I passed over. I think there was pretty much an entire set of the Dragon Riders of Pern. But again, like I had to make some choice. I had to be tough. I had to have some willpower. Because like I said, I could have kept going. I could have kept going. It would have been very easy for me to keep going. So, like, I am excited for this haul. I'm excited to start diving into some of these. Right now, I'm reading Neuromancer. And, you know, about halfway through with it. I've been very open about my struggles with getting back into reading and trying to claw my attention span back from, you know, the phone and social media and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, trying to move through that one pretty quickly. You know, like I said, I'm halfway through and it's taken me about 3 weeks to get there, which is good for me as of recently. You know, I think that, you know, as I kind of move more and more along through that book, and you know, when I'm done, I'll post a review up, my thoughts on that one. But you know, it is like working out. You know, it's like you have to build that kind of muscle memory. You gotta, you know, work your brain like a muscle. You know, because these devices and social media and everything else is just like, I was telling my kid, like, what social media and cell phones have done is what my generation's parents thought TV and video games were going to do to our brains, like, for real. So trying to claw that back is definitely a challenge, you know, especially, you know, I'm almost 50 now. So it's like, after having let it go for the past like 20 years, it's like, oof, you know, probably could have made some better, healthier mental health decisions for myself than getting involved with all this social media stuff. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm making pretty good progress, which, you know, like I said, 3 weeks to get halfway through a book is pretty solid for me these days. You know, I would love to get back to where, you know, a book like this I could finish in, you know, a week to 2 weeks. You know, I would love to get back to, you know, even that kind of case. I'd love to get back to like a book a month, even. Like, I would be happy with 12 books a year at this point. Let alone, you know, what I manage to muster, which is usually about 2 or 3, maybe a year. So I'm definitely looking to at least start getting back to like maybe 12 a year. Would love to get to like, you know, 24, you know, maybe even 36, you know. Like I said, some of these smaller books, it's like, you know, like, what is this? You know, 300, you know, Like, I would love to be able to get to a point where I could get through a 250 to 350 page book in like a week and a half. Like, I would love it. But that's going to take some work. But, you know, epic haul, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you know any of these books, you know, which did you like, which did you not like. Try and keep it spoiler free, because a lot of these I have not read. So I do want to go in, you know, and without any real spoilers. And, you know, let me know if you've had any good hauls lately. And I'll see you in the next video.